Dearest Mia, I hope you found this letter at least a few hours before your 16th birthday festivities begin. Even if you've not, I want you to not panic and read the contents of this letter very carefully. I want you to pack your bags, essentials only. Clothes, food, toiletries, anything else you might need. Then I need you to grab a weapon. A butcher knife, a bat, a beer bottle, anything that can strike hard. There's a loose floorboard towards the right end of your closet. It contains about $500 in loose change held together by a rubber band, hopefully enough to sustain you for a few days. A debit card under the name Irene Alder, some photos, a rope, and small glass vial containing a black bottle. I pray Mary hasn't found it yet. You must keep the vial with you at all times. Now I need you to listen to me very carefully. You must use the rope to sneak out of the house from the window. Put on your best shoes and run. Strike anyone who tries to stop you. Don't hesitate, else you will be consumed by the guilt of not doing so for the rest of your life. Run till you reach a railway station or a bus stand and buy tickets to the farthest station possible and go. Destroy your phone. Change your complete identity. Your name, eye color, hair color, everything. The money in the debit card is enough to help you stay afloat for a few months till you find a job. You must have hundreds of questions, but there is no time for explanations, but you must know our family is not at all what it seems. If it's already too late and there's no way you can escape, I need you to drink the liquid in the vial. It'll burn at first and you'll hate me for the rest of your life for doing this to you, for doing this to your porcelain white skin, but you must trust me, love. When I saw this, death is a blessing as compared to what they'll do to you. Dearest Mia, if you're reading this, that means you've escaped. You must have thousands of questions, and this letter is an attempt to answer a few of them. There are dark things in this world we cannot understand, Mia. Things beyond the comprehension of science and logic. Therefore, I want you to believe everything this letter says, even though how made up and unrealistic it sounds. To understand why you must flee, Mia, you must hear the story of our family, which has been buried beneath centuries of silence. A long time ago, there lived a doll maker. He wasn't any ordinary doll maker, but the finest in the entire country. Each of his dolls took months to make, each detail carved by hand, patterns carefully sewn, and every feature polished until the figure seemed alive. Word of the dollmaker's meticulous craftsmanship was popular amongst the nobles and merchants till it reached the ears of the Viscount of Ravenswick. Unlike the other nobles, the Viscount was known to lead a life of solitude as he rarely engaged with society. The Viscount had an uncanny obsession. He was a doll collector. The Viscount had dolls from all over the world, from the fashionable beauties of France to the lacquered treasures from the East. His collection was so vast that it was said to fill an entire wing of the Ravenswick Manor. But none of the dolls in his collection pleased him enough. The Viscount strived for perfection. He wanted a doll with skin as pale and as smooth as porcelain. Skin that lacked blemishes and bore no mark of age and flaw, and eyes that shone with depth not found with painted glass. He wanted a doll that would blur the lines between artistry and existence. He expressed his request to the dollmaker, promising him jewels and wealth, an amount far greater than he had received for any of his works. The dollmaker, blinded by his greed, got to work almost immediately, working day and night, attempting to make the perfect doll for the Viscount. After a span of 6 months, he was finally done with one of his finest works to date. The doll was truly a remarkable piece of work, combining fine craftsmanship and detail. However, when it was presented to the Viscount of Ravenswick, he had one look at it and immediately dismissed a doll as if it was nothing but a trinket from the common market. The skin is smooth and the eyes shine, but it lacks a spirit and is lifeless. This doll is still wood, no matter how finely carved, said the Viscount. The doll maker, more than dejected and embarrassed, was angry. No one had ever insulted and dismissed his creations like a rag doll till now. He prided upon being the finest doll maker in the land and was determined to prove himself. Thus, he asked the Viscount for another chance. The Viscount did not want a lifelike doll. He wanted life itself captured in a doll. Doll maker, if you can pull this off, I assure you more riches than you'll ever see in a lifetime, said the Viscount before leaving. The doll maker sat outside his house in the garden, smoking a cigar and wondering how he'll manage to pull the task at hand. He saw his 4 children playing in the garden. One of those 4 was his second daughter, Jade. Jade had made a name for herself in the town for her encapsulating beauty. Her porcelain skin, blue doe eyes, plump lips, and curves made her the center of attention almost everywhere she went. The doll maker leaned back on his chair and observed his daughter. It was almost like he could see the Viscount's vision. Suddenly, a dark idea struck him, a thought so horrifying to him it electrified his eccentric imagination. Now he did not view his daughter with paternal love, but with a craftsman's eccentric fascination. A shiver ran down his spine as he realized that the Viscount's masterpiece would not be made out of wood after all. The following week, Jade was gone, and in Ravenswick Manor, a new doll glistened with the same blue eyes as hers. Its skin was as smooth as porcelain and eyes bright. It was perfect. Too perfect, one might say. The Viscount was completely mesmerized as he saw the doll and showered the doll maker with riches far beyond his imagination. The doll became the Viscount's most prized possession. He used to spend hours with the doll alone, whispering his deepest secrets in her ears while stroking her hair and running his hands over her porcelain skin. However, the Viscount wasn't alone to such uncanny fascinations. He was part of the Ravenswick Society, where art like this was adored and appreciated. Soon, demands for more dolls started coming up in exchange for immeasurable wealth. However, not any woman could be transformed into a doll. Only women who carried the blood of that very doll maker could be transformed into a porcelain beauty adorned by jewels and silk. Therefore, the doll maker and the Ravenswick Society made a pact. On the eve of her 16th birthday, one daughter would be chosen to become a doll to adorn the galleries of Ravenswick Society in exchange of gold, pearls, and favor. Daughters would be told that this is an honor, a sacred tradition that has been keeping this family afloat for generations. Families would not weep, but celebrated as their daughters screamed and wailed while being dragged to the doll maker's workshop. You might have escaped, Mia, but you're not free and will never be. Ravenswick Society always comes for what is theirs. In case you haven't used it yet, the vial contains obsidian tincture, something that scars the skin with fractures that look like shattered glass. Do not doubt me, Mia. You might not know my name, but I know you. The doll you stare at in Mr. Edmund's gallery, the one you cannot look away from, the one that almost breathes and looks too alive. That is no doll. That is me, your sister. And if you falter, you will stand beside me, trapped forever. Thank you so much for listening to my narration of this wonderful story. Don't forget to support the author, which I have linked in the description, as well as the original story. And I just want to give a quick shout out to my patrons Scott, Old Penguin, Ellie Hutmeyer, Mr. Sankofa, Austin My Love, Rinku Star, William Hartley, Cupcake Hips, Alonzo, Icy Narrates, Jesse Hartley, Eric Cifuentes, Lawrence Wallen, and Melissa Perez. I also try to link a different charity or a different cause every month and maybe a little more. So don't forget to check out the description to support the author of the story you just listened to and to maybe help somebody else out, even if it's just $1. As always, if you guys have a prayer request, please let me know in the comments, shoot me a message on Discord. I would love to know how I can be praying for you. Thank you guys so much. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.